Hello, Planet Unity. Welcome to Azazels Den. I'm going to try doing these little bit of vlogs, if you will, at least once a week now. I don't know if that will stay the course, but there's two major topics I want to talk about. The wonderful new policy YouTube created. It seems like every year we have another controversy that causes this to change. First, the one that's really attributed by most to PewDiePie saying the N-word, causing the apocalypse. And not only the N-word, but the signs and the whole hashtag context matters events. Whether you want to blame him or not, it might have had some effect on it, but at the same time, we also have this current one being mostly attributed to Logan Paul and the Suicide Forest vlog he did. Whether these changes have been in the works well before either of these events had actually taken place, we don't truly know. We don't know if they were a response to it or if they were an after effect of it. I've been watching a couple YouTubers talk about, the new changes, seeing what their thoughts are as bigger content creators or the ones that are the little content creators. And one actually brought up a valid point, and that was PewDiePie bringing up the point of people that have the habit of shelling out other people's content for easy ad revenue. You see a lot of compilation channels popping up recently because you need those 10,000 views, and what better way to get 10,000 views than uploading a string of other people's content to capitalize on their names and not actually have to create a name for yourself. Like channels like us here at Planet Unity are trying to do, channels like Social Gamerpad are trying to do. Other smaller content creators can't get their foot in the door because of shit that goes on like this. And as much as people love to hate PewDiePie, when he brought that point up, I'm like, I really need to make a response to something like that and make a bit of an addendum to my original thoughts on what I said during the 20th episode of the podcast, which is another topic I'd like to get to after I discuss this. I don't know if I will or not, because I'm trying to keep these under 20-ish minutes. The thing he said, I actually went back and viewed a couple of these compilation channels, and they're getting crazy ads versus even bigger content creators, your achievement hunters, your even PewDiePie, even channels like Markiplier aren't getting ads as much because there's only so many ads to technically go around, as PewDiePie put it. I don't know how much information he knows about current YouTube since he's been kind of pushed aside. But if that's still the case, and these videos that are other people's intellectual properties getting revenue kind of fucks the system up. And the main thought is that he is hoping that this kind of weeds them out, because if they're using other people's intellectual property to make a name for themselves without having to try to make a name, it's kind of scummy. And I kind of have to agree with that. If you're not putting forth any real effort other than actually going into whatever editing software you use, stitching together 15 other channels fucking shit, and throwing it up on YouTube as your own, that's fucking scummy. I mean, if you search on YouTube on early days of like a new anime such as Dragon Ball Super comes out, you'll find it. Sometimes they'll adjust the audio, where it squeaks, or maybe they'll put a border behind it. Maybe they'll fucking zoom in, like, to where you're scrolled in like that, and you actually have to get up like this to view it. But channels like that exist. There's also channels that play full fucking episodes of shows like Family Guy. There's shows like American Dad, on loop. I actually went through and viewed a couple of these, like, are these really fully, holy shit they are. And every episode it would have an ad between them. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. So changing the fucking requirements from 10,000 views to this 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, or I believe Dragon's math that he brought up in the 20th episode of the podcast was 240,000 minutes. You are free to correct me in the comments if you're saying I'm wrong there. But, I mean, as shitty as it is for the smaller channel, if the only requirement is 10,000 views and you upload shit like that, you're going to get them. So hopefully, as shitty as this new system is, maybe it will weed out some of these scummy channels so they can later relax this. But at the same time, I don't agree with half and a half, 4,000 hours, because channels that are devoted to like the arts and, you know, short form videos really are going to begin to struggle for monetization. And a lot of people use YouTube as a career, and it's going to affect those smaller channels really hard. And I hope they stay on the platform, I really do. But I would not be surprised if you start seeing, you know, the smaller YouTubers jump ship to platforms like Twitch, like I said in the podcast, alongside Dragon. And if you got enough of a viewer base, it's going to follow you wherever you go, if they're really devoted to your content. We also have a Twitch. We also have, you know, we had a VidMe before that platform shut down. We had, you know, other shit that we were working on to try to, you know, branch out. Like, if this video wasn't accepted here, we could put it up here, kind of deal. I actually created the VidMe 3 or 4 months before it shut down to see what would go on if I put, say, the Life is Strange playthrough that got immediately auto-monetized when I made the In Response to Merlin's Strikes video. It didn't get struck there. Didn't get as many views because not many people heard of that platform, because YouTube's a fucking juggernaut. There's no comparable real competitor to YouTube. I mean, Twitch is getting up there, but at the same time, it's not got that devoted, uber devoted fan base that flocks to YouTube to watch fluffy cats get pets, or fucking, you know, their latest Let's Play, or whatever fucking podcast they want to watch, or whatever D&D game they want to watch. I mean, stuff like that is what makes YouTube so successful, because anybody can really create. But at the same time, if you're not an established name at this point, you're going to struggle. I mean, we're at 59 subscribers currently as of 1/18 when this video was filmed, and that's taken us since fucking April of last year to get. And put that in perspective. April of last year to January of this year, we've only hit 59 subscribers. The first 1,000 are really the hardest, and just because we're that low in subscribers doesn't mean we intend to quit. But it also proves how hard that 1,000 subscriber count will really be for somebody that's not really got a devoted fan base. Like, if somebody like Game Grumps made another channel today, they'd instantly have at least half their subscribers right there, immediately resubbing. Like, oh, they're doing something else on this channel? Great, we'll jump ship. But channels that just start up and are starting to, you know, get their stride, just every time something happens, getting a new set of rules they gotta follow, like, oh, now I gotta do this and do this and do this and do this and do this. It really appears to the small content creator like, fuck you. We don't want you here. It's not that YouTube doesn't really want you here. It's that they're trying to filter out the content that is unacceptable to the platform. Like, today, I actually tuned into the news, and like, YouTube's removing people that are being dumbasses with the Tide Pod Challenge from their platform, and so is Facebook, even from their Instagram app. Shit like that is what's really going to get affected. The shit posting channels, the channels that really don't deserve to be on the platform. If you're sitting there claiming somebody else's content as your own, you're going to get forced off, because you're not going to be able to get 4,000 hours of shit from this, hopefully. And I'm not Nostradamus, so I don't know. if it's really going to have as much of an impact as people are hoping, or YouTube themselves are hoping. But hopefully it weeds some of that corrupt content off the platform. But it's also going to be increasingly difficult for the small content creators like us, like our artists, like Social Gamerpad, like, you know, I know in Voxel Voice, one of the other groups that's associated with Social Gamerpad, I've seen people taking screenshots of their email like, yeah, I'm getting demonetized, I'm getting demonetized, getting demonetized, I'm getting demonetized. As much as I, you know, can sympathize with them, it's just like, it's not going to stop you from creating content, is it? Because that would just be defeating the purpose of, you know, continuing your brand. Because these gaming pages, as much as gaming is considered dead on YouTube, is always going to have a home here. I mean, they devoted an app specifically to gaming. And as I don't want to see anybody give up their dream of being a content creator just because YouTube's implemented a new set of rules. So I guess it's time to refocus, focus more on creating long form content so it gets more views and longer views maybe. I'm not going to tell any YouTuber how to curate your content. You are free to do whatever you want with your content. You want to create a 30-second quirky little video about, you know, a cat lady, go ahead. It's your channel. And it's always funny to watch, you know, those quick little animatics on channels. You want to actually go out and play the latest Call of Duty and go on a fucking killing spree on that. Go for it. It's your channel. If you want to sit there and sit in front of a webcam and create a vlog like I'm doing right now, go for it. It's your channel. YouTube is for you as much as it is for anybody else. They're not trying to really push you out the door. They're trying to actually force shit that doesn't belong on here out the door. The channels that are devoted to stealing other people's content, the channels that are devoted to fucking people over, and the channels that are also devoted to idiotic, trendy challenges. I know it looks bad. I don't agree with all the regulations that they've put in place. I wasn't a fan of, you know, the 10,000 views. I'm not a fan of them forcing 4,000 hours. But it's their platform. You'll also see me more on Twitch. You'll also see me more on Planet Unity's Twitch as well. You can follow my Twitch at Avenging Azazel. You can also follow Planet Unity at Planet Unity Group, and that one's actually linked in the channel art on the banner. But moving on to the second topic, episode 20 of the podcast. Some stuff was said there, some shots were taken, and I went to feature episode 20 on our channel art. Or our channel page, I should say. Our channel update for November was still there for some reason. I thought I'd fucking remove that from the featured video a long time ago. Last I knew, I thought it was, you know, the previous podcast because that had always been the trend, but apparently when I exited out, it didn't save it for some fucking reason. YouTube glitch maybe, who knows. But regardless of that, when I went to feature episode 20 of the podcast, it showed a lovely picture, and I'm actually going to live edit that in just a moment. But this, I gotta go back to my Facebook Messenger and grab that photo. It's also on my personal Twitter and a few other locations. I went too far. But this lovely screen here was what I was greeted with. Boop. Careful, the video you selected may not appear to some viewers because it's blocked in some countries. And I thought, oh shit, did we do something we shouldn't do? Did we do something we shouldn't do on this podcast? Is it because we talked about, Trump? Is it because we talked about, Call of Duty swatting? Is there an information embargo on Dragon Ball Fighter Z somewhere? It was one that I was joking with the guys at Social Gamer Pad. And then I realized I'm a fucking idiot. Time zones are a thing. So I featured when you archive a video, you can select like a fucking filmed on date, just like you can do that anytime you upload a video to YouTube. Like this one will be filmed on 1/18, or I might not do that now because God forbid I cause YouTube to glitch out and give me that, because when I go to Creator Studio, I get this. Episode 20 isn't affected. You do also see a private video there. That video won't be private after Saturday. It's because Ruby's going on hiatus, and we're going to be asking for suggestions on what our next discussion talk should be, or discussion series like Ruby Talk or the One Piece discussions with Thurman and Red. But yeah, I'm a fucking idiot because it doesn't have any flags like these videos do. Now, none of these are like restricted in countries except for, I believe, one of the actual Life is Strange ones is restricted in a couple countries because it deals with the death of Chloe's father, and a lot of countries don't really like that concept being discussed. I believe it was banned in a couple of African countries, and I believe one Asian country. Don't quote me on that. And also, if you would have access to our admin side of the channel, further down that page, there's also one that's actually blocked in a couple countries because of Star Wars being blocked in some countries because of the music. I don't know if it was a musician thing or if it was just something with the record label, but it was banned in like 3 Asian countries. But yeah, there's those things that are going on. But there's nothing for Control Chaos. So I'd actually made like a joke, like, help us figure out what countries is blocked, and I made a public post on my personal Facebook. I also tweeted out a video, like, we put it up on our Twitch. So you can also view that podcast on our Twitch. It doesn't matter to me where you view it. It really doesn't. I made a simple mistake as a content creator and jumping to conclusions on that, and I kind of, like, Twitch wouldn't pull that shit kind of quip on my timeline when I uploaded the video there as well. Like, because I was still kind of angry before I really put into perspective why YouTube had actually done some of these changes. Because I'm like, fuck. We're never going to be able to, gain monetization on the channel, even though we really don't care about monetization. It was just an angry thought because I've been kind of tipsy from the 20th episode of the podcast, and if you look at my day still for the next, 5 hours on Facebook, you'll see how fucking wasted I was after that. So yeah. The whole thing is, I guess, don't jump to conclusions when being a content creator. Or you might look like an idiot on social media. Because even when I went into the Creator Studio last night, it wasn't flagged. So that's why I was starting to piece together. Maybe it's a time zone thing. Maybe it's just like a glitch in the system. Or maybe in the next couple days I'll have an email saying it's been blocked in multiple countries. I don't know. The system in YouTube is mostly automated. They do have people there to view appeals, but everything else is pretty much fucking automated at this point. And regardless of your thoughts on anything YouTube related, you can agree on one thing. Automating a system like that does not take into consideration the term context. I could sit here and say stupid shit, and it would be completely taken out of context by a machine that's running certain words through a program. That's what happens to a lot of content creators, like especially the artist channels, because anything related to yaoi or yuri or anything slightly obscene is filtered by YouTube's automated system. I'm not saying that those are obscene things. I'm saying to an automated system they are obscene. I happen to be a fan of art of any variety, really. I'm not the biggest fan of yaoi because I'm a straight male. But I do see beauty in art regardless of that. I know one of the artists that's a friend of mine on Facebook has went on rants on Facebook because of certain videos being automatically flagged that aren't even released yet, because she happens to schedule her videos like we do here. And then she had one scheduled 3 months in advance, and it was filtered by that. So it was rather weird that something like that, and it was not anything art related, it was related to Metalocalypse. So it's a very, very funny system. That's why I got angry when Merlin struck us with the automated claims for the Life is Strange playthrough. And rightfully so, because they don't take into consideration that it's technically still copyrighted, but it's also technically being used as an educational purpose, for educational purposes, kind of fair use. Not really educational, but more entertainment. It's very, very odd. Anything like that can really be quite contextual. It's just like the context of what led up to the apocalypse was, very odd. Or what people claim led up to the apocalypse. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we don't know what actually happened or if that was planned, and god damn it. Okay. Gotta love when you get messages right in the middle of a video. But stuff like that, you always have to take into consideration the context. That's why when they announced they were hiring another roughly 10,000 people to actually filter appeals, I was quite happy. Because that puts the human element into it, and they can understand more, oh, this is being utilized in an educational purpose. We can remove the flag from this video. Oh, this video discussing this manga, going back to that Promised Neverland one, that was taken down by Shueisha. That was utilized in a discussion forum. That really shouldn't have been taken down by the bot. Great, we can restore that. Oh, that episode of Life is Strange, they were actually talking about, various mental illnesses, and that shouldn't be demonetized. We can re-enable monetization on that video for that channel. Oh, that episode of Doki Doki Literature Club, they were talking about how each character is, suffering from a different form of depression or a different mental illness, and they're doing instead of them saying she hung herself, because she does hang herself in the fucking game, that same term could have got a channel flag, for example. That actually could be remonetized because, they're giving a discussion about, how they could have prevented that differently, or shit like that. Having an automated system actually really, really fucks shit up, in my opinion. So yeah, I've been on a little bit longer than I'd planned to be, because I kind of rambled and I was setting up live edits, so you got about 20 minutes of commentary from me. Until next week.